Services, Lavazi and who1.co.uk present the 20 megabyte Doctor Who podcast.
Hello and welcome to the 20 megabyte Doctor Who podcast, episode 603. I'm Adam, and I thought of one earlier on. Could be anyone, couldn't it? Oh, hang on. There we go. And here's Mary Lang. And Kirby Bartlett Sloan.
Who's there? Yes.
So we could have taken quotes from both stories we're looking at today, but I don't know. Mine was from the Crimbo special. That was George of the
Which one are we going to talk about first?
We're going to talk about the one in the spooky house with the woody creatures first.
With the wood lice? Okay. Wood lice, yeah.
Very, very quick.
Oh my gosh.
So, it begins with...
It begins, everyone gets eaten, the doctor and Bill save the day, the end. And Missy's in the closet.
There you go. Let's shut up. For some inexplicable reason, Bill has decided to house share with some student friends of hers, because the rent's very cheap in this spooky house. The doctor doesn't look particularly sure about this whole scenario, especially as she's got a lovely blue box she could reside in instead. Anyway, so she goes into the house. The doctor's sort of like looking around in a sort of squinty-eyed way because he thinks there's something not quite right. And
Master. You know why he thinks there's something not quite right? Last time he had to deal with this house, there were weeping angels.
Thank you for that, Kirby. Anyway, to cut a long story short, each one of the children, well, they call them children, students, within the house, start sort of merging into the wooden parts of the fixtures within the house. Very clever special effect. And essentially getting bumped off. And the housekeeper, the landlord, is one of the Suchet brothers. One is a newsreader, the other one's an actor who plays Poirot in the Agatha Christie series. Poirot. Anyway, so he's very, very creepy. For more ways than... What?
I said Poirot.
Okay. He's very creepy, portrays creepy well.
He's very good.
He's very, very good.
Yeah,
He's an accomplice thespian, so he should be able to manage that. And so the doctor decides to invite himself to stay to try and monitor the situation. And then among the when they get absorbed into the wood, which is a very clever special effect, and these like cockroachy, wood licey type creatures sort of swarm and then consume everything. We eventually find out that the daughter of the landlord is mentioned early on, and then becomes more apparent to the story that to keep her existence, she's turned into almost like a wooden creature. To keep her existence going, she needs the life forces of these sort of teenagers. So these sort of wood licey creatures absorb it and put it into her, but she doesn't realise apparently this is happening. So when it's all revealed to her, she's very cross with her daddy for killing all these lovely students, as she calls them, children. It's her son. What?
It's her son.
Oh, is it a son? I beg your
pardon. Also, you can hear me through your speaker.
Yes, that's right. I can hear you through the speaker. Yes. Is that right?
I was then hearing myself.
Then hearing yourself? What are you talking about?
I'm not hearing you. I'm hearing you. It stopped, but a second ago.
I'm glad you reminded me to check the recording levels, because they're well out at the moment. Well, I'm sorry, listeners.
Hey, you checked your recording levels?
Kirby and Mary are completely blown out for the first part. I don't know what's going on there. Online feed. Really, really too loud. Something's gone wrong there. But never mind. I'll have to balance it out. They found that for the first few minutes they would have sounded a bit odd, not in the usual way that they sound odd. Anyway, she's a bit cross with her son. I'm sure he said at the beginning it was his daughter. The tables were turned. Anyway, so it's his son. She's very cross with him because he's been like basically feeding her people. And she's basically, I think, yes, I was building a dog cage at this part of the story, so I had to keep asking Deb what was happening while I was screwing in nuts and bolts. So, doesn't she tell me what happens at the end?
Sorry? You're building the dog cage this year or 7 years ago?
Shut up. So what happened towards the end? Obviously, she sort of, doesn't she get consumed herself, and the house then crumbles to a pile of rubble?
She and her son, they hug together, so then the lice consume both of them.
And then the house collapses.
And then the house.
Yeah. Okay, right.
And then illogically, the house lets all of the students go for this current crop, but not the previous.
Why is that illogical? They were already well consumed. It's a long, long time ago. These people only. When you don't like a story, you can't work by the science fiction, fantasy TV rule, can you? If you don't like one, that rule applies.
Just wait until you ask.
Is the status quo?
just wait until you ask my opinion on this.
That rule applies to all Doctor Who. It's a science fiction, fantasy TV show, and if they decide that they're not going to bring back all the previous Eton students, so may it be. On this instance, that they all live, the house collapses, and end of story. Now, it's a filler story. It's not too bad. A base under siege, spooky tale, which has a beginning, middle, and end, and it's not too bad. It's not too good either. I mean, it's a meh story. Meh. What did Ben used to call these sorts of stories? It's all right. Yeah, it's not that bad. It's not anywhere near as bad as you painted it, Kirby. When I look at the stories you say, oh, this is terrible, i.e., we'll go back to the Curse of the Bad Plot. I mean, Black Spot. Yeah, I wouldn't say that was terrible, but, if you could compare this story to that, I don't think it's as bad as Curse of the Black Spot. It's just a middling story, which is totally acceptable in the realms of Doctor Who.
It's definitely better than In the Forest of the Night.
Okay, if you say so. I didn't mind In
the
Forest of the Night.
So it's my turn?
Not yet, no. Not yet, no. I've got Lillian Robbins saying, hi. This is on the live feed, by the way. Ian Kirk saying, hi, Lillian. Hang on, this is getting a bit weird. Lillian Robbins saying, hi, Ian. Terry Miles saying, hi, everyone. And Lillian Robbins saying, check your recording levels. Thank you, Lillian. A little bit late, but we got it there in the end, didn't we? I was a bit confused as to why.
I think we're just becoming a meet-up spot for the little Doctor Who club.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just a bit worried how if there's going to be a fight between Ian and Neil when Neil comes on. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, where's Neil?
Sorry?
Where's Neil?
I don't know, maybe he's going out to get some tools, getting tooled up for a bit of a battle.
Probably in a show somewhere.
Yeah. We're lucky then. It's just jumping in where the opportunity arises. So anyway, sorry, are you going to say what you thought of it then, Kirby?
Yes, Master. 7 years ago, when we discussed this one, it was 3 against 2. 3 people liked it, including you, Debbie, and wait. You didn't like it.
I didn't?
Mary didn't like it, and Debbie didn't like it, and 2 of us liked it. Right. I liked it, and Andy liked it.
Right.
I have changed my mind.
You don't like it now?
This is Drek.
Whoa.
This was, I like the spooky house, the Scooby-Doo house. It's nice. The students are all just kind of cookie cutter students. I wish that the author had kept his original idea of who the one boy named Harry was. His grandfather was supposed to be Harry Sullivan, but they cut that out of the script, and that would have been the same person who was out and nicked part of the Great Wall that he mentions. I didn't like the wood lice. We'd already had wooden people in the Lion the Witch from the Wardrobe Christmas special. And it's just,
So they're not allowed to-
Bill, I didn't like Bill in this. Why is she even moving out from where she lived? What was wrong with where she lived before?
Because the plot required it, Kirby. Otherwise, there wouldn't be a need for her to be in that house and for us to have the story of the spooky house. It's fairly obvious.
Needs must, yes.
Yeah.
So, no, I've now watched this. Unless I'm invited on some other podcast where they decide to talk about this one, I've watched this for the last time ever.
Oh, well, oh dear. I'm sure that the producers of Doctor Who will be absolutely gutted. Right. Yeah, sorry, Mary, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I just have to say that's quite a negative review there.
So
I'm going to have a hard time beating it.
So you didn't like it then, Kirby?
Huh?
So you didn't like it then?
No.
Okay. Go on then, Mary.
Well, I mean, I didn't like it either, but I have to put it in the frame of, looking at the whole Capaldi era. This is still one of Bill's episodes, and Bill's episodes in my mind still are better, than any of the other, Capaldi era episodes. So it's better, better than all of those, but standing on its own, no, I did not care for it. And I too, I was getting very annoyed with Bill trying to get rid of the doctor all the time, because she has been with him long enough that she knows, what he's going to be like. And she did say at one point, this is me time, this is my life, this is not your part. And that's kind of a new thing with companions. I think it came along mostly with Clara, where, they have their own life and they only occasionally, visit with the doctor. But she's stating it out loud in this one. And if I were her, I'd want to hang around with the doctor all the time. Which I think she was doing because he's her professor. But I wondered too about these kids. They were all calling him the doctor. I mean, is that what they call him in class?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's established in the first Bill episode, that he was a long established lecturer called the doctor.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, it was, in my opinion, it was very predictable, which then leads to a high boring factor. Because it's like, it just kind of, get on with it, get to the end, because I know it's going to happen. And it's not just because I watched it before. It's just that kind of a story. So yeah, general on the whole, it's a Bill story, which makes it better than most of the era, but it's still not a good story. So that's my opinion.
Okay, so you didn't like it then, Mary?
No, I didn't like it.
Okay.
So we reversed a little bit from last time around.
Well, I said I didn't like it last time either.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah, you didn't like it last time. I liked it. I don't like it now, and Master has improved. He disliked it.
I'm just more consistent. It wasn't too bad. I didn't dislike it enough to make it annoying. I thought it was okay, and I quite like watching Capaldi and Bill
for
in
what
the
it's
episodes.
Worth, I enjoy you casting into the past and letting us know, what previous opinions were when we've agreed or disagreed with our
good
past
journalism,
opinions.
Kirby. It's good journalism, but there's certainly enough in that episode for me to think it was quite good fun.
I'm finding it interesting how, if one of the things that I'm trying to figure out is, after 7 years or 10 years or whatever, has my opinion changed? And sometimes yes, sometimes no.
There are Mary's sort of opinions have changed on a couple of the episodes.
She's changed
Some
several
of mine have
times.
changed pretty dramatically, yeah.
And to a certain extent, it does. Watching the episodes quite close together in a long string of a thing does sort of change the way Doctor Who flows. And you get more of a realistic angle on the long-term story arc, i.e. the Doctor Who story arc, rather than this is a season arc, this is the Doctor's life or our life as fans or whatever. and because obviously you do get that thing when you have to wait for 9 months, a year, or a year and a half for a new episode to come out, and you get all excited, and your eyes sort of widen when you watch a new Doctor Who, and it can, to a certain extent, unless you're a Doctor Who fan, because apparently Doctor Who fans hate Doctor Who, as I've found out last week.
Yeah, I liked your thread the other
Unless you're a
day.
Doctor Who fan, you may initially find that episode enjoyable because of not necessarily whether it's good or not, but I prefer to feel that if I've enjoyed it, because back in the day Doctor Who was out and it was on, and they may show a repeat, but other than that you'd have to wait 15-20 years before it came out on VHS before you could see it again, and then you'd get rewatchability out of it that way, because the only way you could watch Doctor Who, because it was off air, was to keep watching your own repeats via VHS tapes or Betamax if you happen to have that.
Or do what I did before I even had videotape. I'd record it onto reel-to-reel tape and listen.
Yeah, there's although that, and also the reading the books, because obviously I couldn't watch Planet of Spiders because I couldn't say to BBC, I want to watch Planet of Spiders. They were never going to repeat it, so I bought the book and read that before I ever got to see it.
And think of all those first and second Doctor stories. Well, no one ever wants to see these again, so we're going to record over the video.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Yes.
So anyway, moving on to Joy to the World, is it called? Is that what it was called? Joy to the World?
Yes.
Oh, I got it right.
Yes,
Cool.
it was.
All the boys and girls.
Okay, all very exciting when obviously, because I have to pay homage to the BBC for putting on a great schedule all day. So, and it was difficult initially hearing what was going on because my father-in-law was waffling all the way through the first few minutes, but I could see what was going on. Shooty Gupta was doing his usual sort of lighting up the screen just with being Shooty, which he does a very good job of. But I have to say, and I mentioned this in one of my posts, that I think he needs to go and see a doctor about his conjunctivitis, because his eyes get watery very easily, and in every single episode there is a tear. So I might have to, well, next time I see Shooty, which I'm sure I will see him again, because Deb needs to have her picture taken with him, I'll have to advise him about his conjunctivitis. I might have to see if I can get some medication for him and hand it over. It's for your conjunctivitis, Shooty. But anyway, back to the story. So the story, basically, if you haven't seen it, you might want to not listen to this bit. The Doctor sort of arrives at what is the coolest hotel in the universe, bar Fawlty Towers, where you can embark on time holidays through the doors of the hotel. Utterly cool concept.
Master.
No.
Master. And I'm hearing an echo of me again.
I don't care.
Anyway, as Debbie in her little video that she posted less than an hour ago, someone pointed out, this has now made Lord of the Rings Doctor Who canon, because there's a Hobbit door and all kinds of other
what's
things
his name,
are
will be
now.
absolutely thrilled because he's a massive Doctor Who fan. So, yes, Kirby? Peter Thingamajig, you know. The Peter Thingamajig who cast Sylvester McCoy in the Hobbit films.
Yeah.
He's a Doctor Who fan. He'll be thrilled.
Sylvester McCoy in The Hobbit? Oh, yeah. My Fred has been watching the Hobbit films incessantly for the past month.
Yeah.
So I'm getting a little tired of The Hobbit.
Oh, good. Well, I have never seen any of them, so I win.
Anyway, so go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying that. So he's basically at the coolest hotel in the universe, and you see a few scenes of him sort of arriving in certain parts in time with a tray of coffee and stuff, and you think, what's that all about then? Of course, it will explain itself. You know it will. It's Doctor Who. And then he gets into a situation where there's this briefcase with the handcuffy thing, and everybody who gets this briefcase gets taken over by somebody. Well, the briefcase, and just has to hand it to someone else. I can't remember. Anyway, once they hand it to someone else, they've got about a minute to live after they've handed it on, and they get their memory back and stuff like that. And then this beautiful a character called Joy, she eventually ends up with this suitcase, and the doctor sort of finds her quite nice. So but he realises that he's got to do something about Joy not dying. So he sort of sets up a situation where he can get into this briefcase, and there's a combination, and he hasn't got the combination, and they're in a bit of shtuck. Then the doctor comes through the door and shouts out the combination, and he says, how are we going to get out this one? He said, you'll have to go the long way. And we've already seen the character earlier on in the episode, this lady, one of the people working in the hotel, and the doctor then sort of lives a year in this sort of hotel, befriends the woman at the hotel, and in that time, because he said at some point he needed some time to work out the combination, so he's got a year, so that's how he manages, obviously, to work out the combination. And so he spends... Sorry?
Master, no, he never works out the combination.
Well, I'm telling you he did, because he gave the combination, that was right. Anyway, so...
Right. No, but he also states that it's an ontological paradox. He knows the combination because he gave himself the combination. He never figured out the combination.
Doesn't matter. It worked.
I'm not complaining about
I'm just saying,
paradoxes. I love them.
Well, I'm decided that he worked out the combination. That he worked out that was the combination because he gave the combination. Yes, like you say about the paradox, whatever. Because there was a paradox in the.
Yes, there was a paradox.
The same doc. Yes, I can't remember what I got up to now. So he eventually, after the year, befriending this lady and collecting TARDISes, which was quite good fun, especially all Doctor Who fans who own their own TARDIS will be saying, "I've got that one." So that was really good fun. And
yes, Ellie Littlechild from Who Culture has already said that she recognized several of those, and she probably has them in her collection.
Yeah. And obviously then he goes back and I'm starting to lose the plot because I've only watched it once. Moving on a little bit further in the story. So Joy is reunited. I think it was her mother. I think it was her mother, wasn't it?
Yeah, her mother was dying because of COVID.
That's right. And there's an emergence of the something or some alien connected with it. Anyway, that becomes the Christmas star, which is quite a romantic, Christmassy idea. And somebody got annoyed because the doctor, he's in a sort of deserty area and he's looking at the star and he sort of walks along and looks over the hill and sees Bethlehem back in 2000, the year one, shall we say. And they're looking up at the star. I've got a problem with that. It's a Christmas story. What does it matter? It's science fiction, fantasy, TV, historical, whatever. Doesn't matter.
I saw that coming from a mile away. About
Maybe
halfway
so.
Through.
It had to happen. It's the Star of Bethlehem.
Yeah.
They got to put. But it wouldn't be right to have the Star of Bethlehem and not have it in Bethlehem. So beep what? And then we have him sort of thinking about he misses. Never remember a blood. Ruby. Sorry, Mrs. Ruby, and then they sort of it implies that Ruby's going to come back, and that's basically the end of the story. Really good fun. And then there's a reel of what we're to expect from the next series, including more Anita Dobson and the new companion and some fun. So yes, I may have missed stuff.
And we see, Master, yes? And we see that Ruby does indeed come back and is working for UNIT.
Indeedy. So, I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. I was on the edge of my seat watching it all the way through and just thinking, oh, this is wonderful. This is really Christmassy. It's probably for me. I don't really like Christmas specials because obviously they have to have this bloody Christmassy theme. There wasn't an awful lot of snow, thank goodness. But but it just felt really Christmassy and fun and lots of love and spirit and timey-wiminess, especially with the Time Hotel. Great character actors within it and these little tidbits of, oh, I know him from so-and-so and there's that and the other. It was just a little bit of absolute adorable fun. And even Shooty found it emotional because he'd had a few tears rolling down his face, as per usual, during the episode. So, yes, I loved it. I'm quite looking forward to watching it again within the next year, hopefully. And what did you think of it then, Kirby? I dread to think.
Well, it was a lot of fun. It's not one of my favorite stories. It had so many plot holes, but it's a Christmas story. It was fun. Like I said, I love the ontological paradox of him just giving himself out of nowhere the combination. I liked the characters, like the two hotel people from the Time Hotel, the Silurian and what was his name?
I forgot about the Silurian. That was really cool.
Yeah,
with the
and remember,
Roger, wasn't it?
we'd seen the dinosaur scene before, and we thought he was going to be a baddie, and he wasn't. Let me think what some of the other things about it. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I liked that they are doing things correctly. What's the name of the character? That they showed Edmund Hillary working hand in hand with Tenzin Norgay.
All right, yes.
Because for most of my life, they ignored Tenzin Norgay for climbing Everest.
All right, okay.
Even though it was pretty much a team effort there.
Yes.
And they got, and the actor they got from his name, he's obviously he's a Sherpa, because his last name is Sherpa Moore, which is very interesting. It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
That's
what we want for a Crimbo special.
Not for a Christmas special. It's probably up there as one of my favorites now.
Hang on, I thought you said at the beginning it wasn't one of your favourite stories.
No, for Christmas specials, yes.
Okay. So
it's not one of my.
No, it certainly wasn't the worst Christmas special. I mean, it's a difficult thing about Christmas specials. Everybody says that the Lion Witch in the Wardrobe, is that what it was called? I can't remember.
Yeah, well, no, it has a different name, but that's what we all call it. But yeah, that was the worst Christmas special.
Yeah, and even that wasn't absolutely awful. It had some very, very silly things in it, but there was lots of really enjoyable elements in there. And they talk about, Doctor Who's already done the wooden creatures. So, I mean, what? Why not do it? There's lots of trees in species in the world. They've done Dalek enough. What's wrong with doing stories with people who are wooden?
It's been a while since we had Daleks. We need some Daleks next season. Series.
The one that sprung to mind was remember the Mark of the Rani, when that black bloke became a tree from the little tree mines. It was quite good.
Anyway, I liked it.
Yeah, it was good fun, right? I might, if anybody's cosplaying the 15th Doctor, you should get one of those little tears just to go down the side of the face and just draw it in.
Yeah, because he's always crying.
He's very emotional. He's very clever, isn't he? He can do it with either eye or both eyes. But yeah.
The interesting thing about cosplaying him is that how many different costumes does he have now?
No, but he's got the basic ones, doesn't he, with the long brown leather coat.
Yeah.
I think that's the sort of the thing that he always sort of goes back to.
Master?
Yes.
Master?
Yes.
Little hotels like that, I assume that's just a pretty standard British hotel.
Well, certainly not a Premier Inn.
It just had this little tiny lobby and
I've never been in a hotel that looks like that. But each hotel is different. They all have rooms. That's about the only thing safe. They all have rooms, and some of them have restaurants. But one thing we must mention, of course, that this Christmas special was written by Stephen Moffat. So we've had two stories, and I seem to remember the one where they're standing on the mine, the Doctor's standing on the mine, was, I must come back and write one more. So he's come back and wrote another one more. So I got the feeling, I read somewhere that he's going to be quite well involved in the next series anyway, because him and Russell are quite good buddies, and they both love Doctor Who.
Kirby, if you've never stayed in hotels in big older cities like New York or Chicago, you would see hotels like that all the time.
Yeah, maybe they're more based on American hotels.
And way back about 30 years ago, I was going on business trips all the time, 35 years, and the company would send me to New York, but I was almost always staying in like major Hyatts off of 42nd Street.
The private little hotels and older hotels in cities like New York and Boston and Chicago and all that, they're all like that. The tiny little lobbies and small rooms.
Right, I think yes.
And there was one hotel I stayed in Boston about 40 years ago that is cool because they had this in the door, the room door was this little thing you could put an entire suit in there, and they would come up and take it from the other side and go dry clean it for you.
Anyway.
It's an old hotel.
Anyway, before we move on to the highlight of this particular review, as I say, we have to mention about Moffat being there because some people just paradoxically hate Moffat, whether it's good or not. So, Moffat is rubbish. It's got the word Moffat attached to it. So I think sometimes Stephen Moffat might have to consider having a pen name so as people can enjoy the story without knowing it. So just decide not to like it because they've seen his name on the titles now. But anyway,
some of us don't mind at all.
No, I don't mind. Some Moffat stories are really good, some are a bit meh. But this was, for me, it was quite enjoyable. And certainly the last Moffat story we saw with the foot on the standby. Oh, but it's copycatting Genesis of the Daleks. Well, not really. It's yes, he's got his foot on the landmine, but it's a completely different setup, isn't it? He doesn't sort of get Harry to help him out and stuff like that. He's sort of in real shtuck in that one. And it's clever turning it into a full episode, etc., etc. And the new companions in it and everything. But anyway, I know you're all waiting for it, listeners. Here we go.
Yes, we are.
Mary?
Well, I have very mixed reactions to this. As is typical, Moffat, Davies era, we are given, sparkling dialogue and well defined. We instantly fall in love with the characters, which they pick good people who play them very well. So, you're just in love with all the elements and the Murray Gold music, which I love Murray Gold's music too.
Yeah.
But the story is so empty. I found that if this were not Doctor Who and I were not into Doctor Who like I am, I probably would have turned away, not even halfway through, because it's like, I know what's going to happen, and then this is taking way too long getting there. There's nothing new or interesting happening in the middle, but I understand, that there's a sparklingness to this episode that makes it Christmassy and fun and nice. All that tempting stuff in the very beginning, the ham and cheese toasty and pumpkin latte, where he was appearing in all these unlikely circumstances. Of course, they're wonderful teasers. You want to know, how did he get there? What's going on? But once you find out, like, okay, well, then the big surprise is over. And from there on, it just, the suitcase moving from person to person and them dying. And I don't know. It just, to me, the story just dragged on, in spite of, there being some clever lines along the way and very good acting. Like I said, all the elements are wonderful. It's just, for me, the story was lacking any oomph,
Oomph.
Even the Capaldi episode that we watched, which is not a favorite, had more storyline to it than this did.
That's the trouble with Christmas specials, though, isn't it, Mary? They can't.
And that's it. I feel
douse it in Christmas.
I'm criticizing a Christmas episode.
Yeah.
So as Christmas episodes go, it's not the worst, but it's not my favorite either.
As I was watching this, and I was thinking, hey, this is one that my wife might be interested in seeing, because it was kind of lightweight and fun.
Mm-hmm.
And
so it is lightweight.
She watched some Matt Smith, but just couldn't continue.
Right,
I know. The Matt Smith episode with the fish and all that is my absolute favorite.
I didn't used to like that one, but the music is so beautiful. And, of course, Michael
Yeah,
Gambon's
I used to not like that one either.
It's now becoming
got around
a bit of a
to it more
classic.
recently. I loved it.
Yeah, it's becoming a classic now. It's that is becoming a good story after not liking it initially. Right then, moving on, we got on the live feed, that's the 20 megabyte Doctor Who podcast Facebook group, which you can join. Terry Marcel says, there are a lot of hotels in London that are like the Sandringham. Working for BT, I worked in many like it. It's working at BTI, it said, I don't know, BTI.
What's BT?
Yeah, BT. What? What did you say?
What is BT?
British Telecom. I don't know if they say.
Okay, how am I supposed to know that?
Because I just told you.
Okay.
But you have to ask.
Yes.
I had to ask.
I just answered. Right, so Kirby, you can bring in your hopefully we've got some a little bit of feedback of something,
a little bit.
You know. And while you do that, because as you may be noticing, my nose is starting to sound audibly blocked up. I'm gonna have to go and get a tissue and blow it while you. Ow, that was my knee. While you deal with this section of the show. Can you do that for me?
Do what?
Okay, that's fine. Cheers for that, Kirby.
Okay. Anyway. This for some reason, this is backwards. Let me change the order of these. What's going on here? And I can hear myself echoing again. All right. The first comment was from me because I was looking up the Fields House, which is from Knock Knock, and discovered that it has been restored and you can buy it for £1,300,000.
Oh my!
So we should go out there and do that. Skipping in, Andy Nunny says feedback sent, but Audacity had a pop-up saying some audio lost, and then I responded to audio lost by being either absorbed into the woodwork or turning into a star.
Because of course you're very funny.
Ha ha.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. Good.
And do you want me to read Debbie Melrose's?
I thought you said Debbie had sent a video.
No.
Hello.
There's a video?
I thought you said. I must have misunderstood. Yeah, if Deb sent something through of a nature that can be read, yes.
Oh no, she posted someone else's video, which was a commentary about how things are. Everything's now canon that the Time Hotel could get to. So you want me to read her regular feedback?
Yeah, go on then.
She says, I hope you all had a cracking Christmas. Remember, I'm not on tonight, so I've got family down from up north. A review for you. Joy of the World was a cracking Christmas tale with a strong central performance by Ncuti, who brings his own joy to Doctor Who. I enjoyed the ride right up until the final date, 0001 Bethlehem, as it was just too much saccharine Christmas star for my taste, but hey, it is Christmas. I now want to visit the Time Hotel or even work there, but I feel more that a few lores and myths of Who were trampled on in the process of its inception. The music was great and the ensemble cast were obviously enjoying every minute. This is the best Christmas episode in ages and really rounded off a great day.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Debbie Melrose.
What was that?
Pardon?
Happy New Year to all our listeners and to you, my lovely colleagues. I will be on more in 2025, all being well. Kiss, kiss.
Splendid.
Okay.
Okay, so we can move on to the next section of feedback. That's the stuff that came through the email of 20mb.feedback@gmail.com. And the first thing that came through was from Terry Miles via the dulcet tones of Mary Lang.
Okay, he says, first off, a quick feedback for Joy to the World. The Moffat is back. What a joy. The star seed will bloom and the flesh will rise. How come the Doctor does not know about the Time Hotel? Just worked it out. It's Moffat again. A Time Hotel that uses the door that everyone has seen if you have stayed in a hotel room. It connects to the next room so it can become a suite. Yeah, I wondered about that too. Why doesn't everybody know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit confusing at the start with the Doctor popping into rooms with the tray. Explained in the end with the Doctor crossing his own timeline. Moffat strikes again. Hey, Mr. Ben has an outlet there. No explanation as to why they die after the handcuff has moved on. Joy's
It's a
mom
science
was
fiction fantasy TV program.
Well done, Kirby.
the usual explanation. Joy's mum was in the Royal Hope Hospital. Is this the same one from
Oh,
Smith
my.
Jones?
Yes.
Ah, they must have replumbed the electric and everything again. Ah, the nativity scene. Very Christmassy. No snow this time. Amazing, well done, BBC. You've caught on. As for quotes, here are a couple. The doctor. Ham and cheese toasty and a pumpkin latte. Joy. When you explain things, do people usually feel better? Doctor. No. Feedback for knock knock. Well, that's different. That's different. Bill has got friends that have never been seen before. She wants to live in digs rather than at home. I don't think they're friends, because she says at some point that she's never, these are random people looking for a
She did indeed
room.
say that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, now that's strange. The doctor using the TARDIS as a delivery van. That's novel. Hercule Poirot has a sideline, has he? Feeding students to a house 6 at a time. Nice he could find work between solving murders. Wasn't this the one supposed to have Harry Sullivan's grandson in it, but was cut?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Bit of a meh, this one. There were too many long quotes. Paul, Bill, if you get scared in the night, you know where I am, yeah? Bill says, what? Paul, just if you need any of my help or my whatever, Bill, yeah, I get that. You're into me, but sorry, you're not my type. It's just I tend to go for girls usually. So, Paul, oh, right. I was never in with a chance. Okay, awesome. Next up, zombies in space. Oh, sorry, oxygen. Is Jean Michael Jarre in it? I don't know. Who's that, Jean Michael Jarre?
Who's that?
I'm sure it will be made apparent by Terry because I think he's watching.
Within seconds, yes.
Is he a singer? Is he a musician?
Jean, is it a man, Jean Michael, or is it a woman, Jean Michel Jarre? I don't know who that is.
John Michel Jarre. Either way,
Happy
I think it might be a
and of course,
musician.
a Happy New Year, Linda and Terry Miles.
Yes, thank you for that. Terry goes on to say, and Kirby says he's an Anglophile. I think that might be something to do with the hotel.
I've never been, so I don't. Other than I've never been there. I am an Anglophile, yes, but I've never been there to experience a British hotel, if that's what it's being referred to. My main experience with a British hotel is Fawlty Towers.
Yes, that's why I said Fawlty Towers is the hotel I'd like to stay in the most. This one, the Time Hotel, secondly.
And when my parents went to Britain when I was 10 years old, they didn't describe the hotels, so I don't know.
Understandably so. Okay, we have a very rare bit of feedback from somebody who was on the show many years ago, and he's my co-founder and organiser of Fantasy Con. It's Roy Spearman.
Well, this is something I haven't done in a rather long time. Hello, 20 megabyte podcasters. This is Roy.
Hello, Roy.
Crumbs, it's been, I don't know how many years since I've sent you any feedback in, but finally got my finger out and decided to do it. So, first things first, Merry Christmas to one and all, and I wish you all a very, very joyful, and if it's not your thing, non-alcoholic, New Year.
No chance.
So, first little bit of housekeeping, a little bit of con stuff. If possible, could somebody please give Debbie Melrose a little bit of a nudge and ask her to please reply to my messages on Facebook? That would be lovely, because then I can get some planning done for...
Right, remind me to do that.
Anyway, on to the 2 episodes you're talking about this afternoon. So first things first, Knock Knock has the wonderful David Suchet playing the landlord. We never find out what the landlord's name is in the episode, which is quite interesting. Absolutely loved this episode. The Doctor was being a brilliant example of he knows something's not quite right, but he can't put his finger on it, and so he's going to ingratiate himself and make himself a complete nuisance, much to Bill Potts' annoyance. But it's brilliantly well played. I love the way that Capaldi and David bounce off their characters bounce off each other. Very, very well portrayed. Not much more I can say about that episode. It is absolutely brilliant in my opinion. I absolutely loved it. On to the Christmas special, Joy to the World. Right, where does one start with this one? Again, brilliant standalone episode. Really, really good. I can't help but feel that the Valent Guard are going to be coming back as a regular semi-baddie. We've seen them quite a few times in the previous series, and obviously they've now the baddies behind this Protostar. Loved some of the Easter eggs in this episode. If you didn't pick it up, I particularly liked the Dodo Burger joint, and I don't know if anyone else picked it up, but the name of the bar that the barman comes from, and there's quite a few bits to do with the swapping of briefcase. That was called Detambles. Now, those of you who may not know, Detamble was the name of the time-travelling librarian in the book and then the film of the same name, The Time Traveller's Wife, which I thought was quite a nice little nod to somebody else's sci-fi.
Fantastic.
That information's been out there for a while.
I do have a small issue. I mean, I say small issue. It was blindingly obvious from fairly early on in the episode that this Protostar was going to become the Star of Bethlehem, because that was such a painful time to Christmas. It was ridiculous, really. I do have a small head scratcher though, because if a star that bright is still visible 2,000 plus years later, both at 2020 and during World War
Science
II,
fiction fantasy TV show.
Then that star was shown as being as bright as the moon. So I have small issue with the physics of that one, with the astrophysics of that one. And if it was a recurring star, if it was one that brightened at that time of, on those occasions, then it makes me wonder, well, what's going on with that star, because that would indicate that the star is unstable. So how much of a use that would be for Valent Guard is anybody's guess. Mind you, why did Valent Guard want a bloody great star like that? And also there was constant references to the flesh will rise. Now, the obvious assumption there is that obviously Joy was consumed by the star and then rose up into the heavens and off into space. Okay, that's one interpretation, but we've seen the flesh before. We've seen the flesh with we saw the flesh with Matt Smith's Doctor. So is this a reference to the flesh will be coming back?
No, it's a Jesus reference.
As some kind of new monster or some kind of, we also to a point saw the flesh, of course, with David Tennant in New York, didn't we, in the hospital episode there. But these are all possibilities. Who knows what's in the mind of the writers of this stuff at the moment. But other than that, pretty decent episodes. Thoroughly enjoyed them. And again, I shall sign off now and wish you all a very, very happy and hopefully prosperous New Year.
Yeah, thank you, Roy. And please continue to supply audio for the show, despite being
that's great.
despite being knocked back by Kirby regarding some of your interesting theories. I will just say that Kirby was right on one of them when he said about the star and everything like that. That is covered by the 20 megabytes science fiction fantasy TV show rule. But yes, I can feel Kirby simmering, so we'd better diffuse him. Yes, go on then. What's the matter?
What am I simmering about?
I think it was something, the second bit after the star bit. You were simmering about something. I can't remember what it was now.
No.
Probably just as well. Yeah, right.
No, to me, I interpreted the flesh will rise as being a direct reference to the resurrection.
That's fine. But don't you think there could be some other...
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with it, but don't you think there could be some other interpretations? Anything of religious note can have its own interpretations, and I think Roy's is
absolutely
a quite valid one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not objecting.
Good.
He just didn't include that one, and I thought that was kind of obvious.
Right. Going back to Jean-Michel Jarre, whatever it was, Mary, Terry says he was a French musician who performed Oxygen in the 1980s. I can find the track if you wonder what Oxygen was.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll find that while we listen to another bit of feedback. It goes like this.
Thank you, Terry.
Well, good evening, 20 Megabytes, Andy Lee here. It's Sunday night, and I'm about to fall in the bath, as I normally do. At least I don't have to go to work tomorrow, thank goodness. And, we're getting round to talking about Knock Knock first, and then Joy to the World. Now, Knock Knock.
There.
Yeah, I think this is one of those where it's a good idea that just didn't quite work. I think that's the problem.
Right.
It's, now, having been a student myself, admittedly, my God, it's 40 years ago I started at Sheffield. I'm starting to feel very, very old. And I remember going around, trekking around, looking for accommodation and looking at some really, really dreadful places. So I know what it's like. Strangely enough, one of the best places I ended up winning was opposite the pub. Sadly now demolished, the Cannon Hall in Sheffield. If any Sheffield listeners might remember it. But yes, it's an interesting experience, and I think the students should have been a bit more, well, a bit dim, aren't they? They've been offered something out, a really nice place, and knocked down rent. Where's the catch? There's clearly something going wrong. And also given the fact that the landlord is, well, my God, he's quite clearly not all there. Really good performance by David Suchet. I mean, I didn't recognise him at first. And I said, God, that's David Suchet. He's a flipping good actor. Yeah. However, he gets in and the doctor turns up and he sort of, she's Bill's, oh goodness sake, he rather is Bill's grandfather. I'll get that bit right at least. I have been drinking. And yes, that goes on quite well. But then he keeps coming back and looking around, and the others are getting a bit suspicious of him. But then people start disappearing, and you wonder what's going on. Now it's when you get these strange knocking noises, hence the knock knock. There's a good title, isn't it? Because knock knock could be knock on the door, blossy knock knock there. Maybe. And it's interesting, of course. We've got this sinister landlord who doesn't know who the Prime Ministers are. Harriet Jones gets mentioned, and these friends disappearing, and so what's going on? And we've got these insect creatures, aren't they? Like wooden ones, dryads. What are they doing? Then this creature that appears, and that's my daughter. Actually, no, it's not. But an Oedipus complex going on here, because it's actually the landlord's mother, who finally realises what's going on and decides, as any good mother should do, I'm in charge here. Yes, don't worry, I let Dawn run the house here. I just do as I'm told. And decides enough's enough, and takes her son with her.
Oh. What happened there?
What happened?
It just didn't quite work. It could have been so much better. I think it could have been. The end actually was good. I think it's just the way it all. Are they really thick, these students? Well, yeah, I suppose most students really are thick.
Well, they're
these
students,
days, aren't
they
they?
only focused on one subject.
But if they couldn't spot that something's going on, something's wrong, and I think that's a bit that just didn't really work for me. But yeah, good acting. Just the writing could have been better, I think. Capaldi, though, I think he's excellent. I mean, he really was. He'd really come into his own, and he was happy. Well, perhaps not happy is the right word, but he took on the role of the grandfather, and of course, throw back to the first story, of course, of being the companion's grandfather. What only people picked up on that. Anyway, we then move really up to date to Joy to the World. Now, I watched it twice. First time was on a slightly day, because we went to the pub for Christmas dinner. Dawn decided she can't cook, doesn't want to cook anymore, which is fair enough. And I sat there watching it, and yeah, I did enjoy it, though I must admit a lot of it towards the end did sort of go a bit over my head. Yes, okay, Adam, I had been drinking. So I watched it again the next morning, and it did make a bit more sense there. I think this one actually was a very clever story in the fact that, a time hotel, looking at going back and seeing the really important things. And Arthur C. Clarke wrote a story about this, where they had a similar thing. Somebody went back and went in and crushed a butterfly, I think it was. This could be where the butterfly effect thing comes from. Well, perhaps Clark took it from that.
Yes, that's where it comes
and came
from.
Back and changed the world completely.
No,
so it's
Ray Bradbury.
What would have happened if somebody had gone back? I did actually have a conversation today with Zach going into church about the time paradox. I mean, the 9-year-old boy is frighteningly clued up on things. But I wonder what could have happened then. Did they have a way of making sure that people didn't go in and suddenly, say Caesar's assassination, stop the assassins from killing Caesar? You know, 'cause that could have changed, that would have changed the world, wouldn't it? So I didn't quite know how it worked, but I thought the relationship between the Doctor and Anita was absolutely excellent. There's a case of, you know, you just get yourself in quite quickly. And was she the only person who worked at that hotel? Because you never saw any other staff. So who did all the cleaning? Who did the cooking? Who did everything? You know, was she running it herself? You know, but then with her getting a job at the Time Hotel, and the Old Lang Syne card was very good. Joy I liked. She was a joy. No, she really was. She really brought a vivacity, was what I was trying to say, to the role. And the way at the end of it, after going through quite a lot with the Doctor that she was not expected, and it's all come back to Bethlehem Star again, it really did make it a very good Christmas one. And I must admit, I did watch both of those episodes wearing my official BBC Joy to the World sweatshirt. Pictures are available on the website, on the Facebook page. But yeah, I did enjoy it. Anyway, we now come to the end of the year, so hope everyone's had a really good Christmas. Hope 2025 is a good year. I'm facing the fact that, yes, I've got a milestone birthday next year, and it is
60?
Quite a scary thought. But hopefully I'll still be around to annoy you all in the future. So Happy New Year, one and all.
Well, yes, Happy New Year to you, Andy, and family,
Master?
and Nunny. Sorry, very, very nice for you to
Master?
continue to send stuff in. Yes.
So he said he didn't really like it or this time around. Knock.
I didn't really. I think he didn't seem to mind it. I didn't get anything too negative about it.
Yeah, which means he also reversed from 7 years ago.
Oh, okay. All right. Meanwhile,
also there's more feedback.
Oh, is there from who?
Andy Nunny.
Before you go on to Auntie Nunny's more feedback, it's a little bit of a sample from
3 words.
A little bit of a sample of Oxygen by Jean-Michel Jarre for Mary. Okay, I think people will remember that song.
Master?
Okay.
Yes,
It's representative, I didn't make a great impression.
No, I'll say very good. That's the tune. Yeah, sorry, what's your name again? Kirby, isn't it?
That music left me breathless.
Sorry, have you got something? You said there's more feedback?
That music left me breathless. Anyway, Andy remember I told him that his audio was lost by either being absorbed into the woodwork or turning into a star. His response was, very good, sir, with applause.
Oh, dear. Right, yes, I've got. There's some
I'm
more
here.
feedback.
I'm. Don't forget to take her.
I've got an idea for a New Year's resolution for you, Kirby. Don't know if you'll like it,
Master?
but it's certainly an idea. Anyway.
Hello, 20 Megabyte Podcast. It's Ian Kirk.
Hello, Ian.
Hello.
Knock Knock by Mike Bartlett.
Who's there?
A boy finds alien bugs that can keep his terminally ill mother alive by allowing her to absorb the life energy of tenants he rents the old house
David
to
Tennant?
every 20 years.
David Tennant?
Bill and the Doctor are involved with the latest group. The Doctor works out what has happened and persuades the mother to take responsibility for stopping the deaths. At the end, the mother magically brings back to life the current group of tenants whose life energy she had consumed. But not the previous groups, whom the viewers had not met.
Yeah.
Joy
They
to the
regenerated
World
from
by
David.
Stephen Moffat. Another mother and child get involved with aliens. Like the other story, there's a group of minor characters who die one by one to emphasise the seriousness of the story. The title character, Joy, appears at the start, but then leaves for half the story, while the Doctor is involved with an ontological paradox, waiting a year in the company of the receptionist for a 4-digit code. The Time Hotel is an interesting idea. A hotel in the future can rent unused rooms in the past to time-travelling cosplay future adventurers. The weapons company Villengard are going to create a star 65 million years ago, which incidentally will be seen on Earth for the start of Christianity. In the future, in the story Flesh and Stone, the church will become a large army, but that might be a coincidence. Joy takes the device far away and becomes the new star. Somehow her dear old mum gets to see the star in 2020 as she dies. Bye for now.
Well
Bastard,
covered. I wish I'd just played that right at the beginning of the show and I wouldn't have had to said a thing. Yes, Kirby.
Right. Yeah, Villengard was created by Moffat. Yeah, by Moffat back in the Capaldi days. If we're going to see at the end of the current season that we're watching series. And it was also part of his more recent Boom episode. So he likes Villengard.
Yeah, I remember it from the Boom episode.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
It's in the episode where Bill shows up as a crystalline creature too.
Well, thank you. Well, that means we can actually move on to the next segment of the show. And excuse me. Yeah, I'll talk about what we watched this week as well in a minute because I watched some good stuff over the Christmas 2 days. Doctor Who news. We spoke about Rose Ayling-Ellis, who's going to be guest starring in Doctor Who during the forthcoming series. I've got a spinning disc of doom, which has now stopped and allowed me to carry on. Oh yeah, we talked about also the Savages DVD that is coming out soon last time as well. So, like I said, I haven't seen it anywhere yet to buy. I did actually buy something from whowon.co.uk.
Is that whowon.co.uk?
It's under here somewhere. Oh no. It's got buried under a load of stuff. Oh god. It's my 15th Doctor figure. Oh, that's pretty typical, isn't it? I have to find that now because I want to turn all my Doctor Who figures into little Lego things. So you put them in, hold them in a little Lego case so they go on display and don't fall over like they do at the moment.
Well, are you still doing major Lego projects?
Oh, well, I'm currently doing the Minions 4. One of the builds from that at the moment. It's really quite cool. It's only a little project compared with what I've got in the shed to do, like the Pac-Man arcade machine, and there's loads of stuff I've got over. There's a retro
Just make
radio.
sure that your Dalek doesn't destroy them because he's also in the shed.
The Dalek is actually hidden behind a banner that says the Red Funnel Brick Zone at the moment, so the Dalek actually can't see a blooming thing. So, and it's in a dark shed, so vision is impaired. So season 7 is available on Blu-ray. There is the 50 years of the Fourth Doctor free bookazine, which is available from www.radiotimes.com/Tom-Baker-bookazine. In addition, Big Finish have released a special full-cast audio anniversary adventure called The Curse of Time, starring Tom Baker, along with Sadie Miller as Sarah Jane Smith. That's lovely. And Christopher Naylor as Harry Sullivan. Now, Tom himself sent out a Christmas message to his fans, which was lovely.
Yes, that was very nice.
Yeah. Lovely of him to do, and lovely to see. And it's nice to know that if you do happen to bump into him in his hometown, he'll have a picture with you, and you don't have to pay £90 for it. But I haven't got time to go up, unfortunately, to where Tom lives and facilitate that particular possibility. So that's Doctor Who news, unless Kirby's heard of anything else that is not included in that particular thread.
Well, there was the release of... what's the story?
I know.
The Second Doctor's last story.
Oh, the War Games. Oh, yes. Now, that was that was a part of what we watched this week. Now, unfortunately for me, I forgot. And I was just flicking through the channels, and it was already a half an hour in. Bear in mind, it's only an hour and a half, this particular version of thing. But what I did see of it was magnificent. And the only way I can actually watch it in full is via the iPlayer. So I'm hoping they do release it in a replayable form. So I've got the Daleks colorized on my Skybox, but at the moment I'm in the state of having missed out. That's interesting
because through some magic of the TARDIS or whatever, I happen to have the War Games in color. So
yeah, have you seen it?
Parts of it. I
I've seen parts of it. I do need to watch the whole thing.
Went through it, and the main thing that I went to was the regeneration, because I do like how the regeneration was done.
Okay, well, I haven't seen that bit, so please don't spoil it for people. But thank you. At least we know it from various people who apparently are Doctor Who fans. On this occasion, they all like it, so good. There we go. So that's that which I haven't watched, but I mean to. The Doctor Who proms were on BBC Two. I think it might have been on Boxing Day, and spellbinding. My goodness. And some of it you do actually genuinely have a tear in your eye, because the sheer beauty of the music and the pictures they play with the music, it's absolutely gorgeous. And if you get a chance to watch it, please do. Catherine Tate presents the show. Friend of the convention, Terry Blast. Mickey Lewis, friend of the convention, is also there in costume and talking about being in costume backstage and everything. And it's just gorgeous. You just see the joy in all the fans' faces at the Royal Albert Hall, all the aliens, the monsters, or what you want to call it, characters, walking down the aisles and interacting with them and everything. Oh goodness, it's just a wonderment. Of course, it's nice also. Obviously, most of the music is Murray Gold. He's there. But they also bring in the musical person from Jodie's era, I can't remember his name, and they play some of his music, some of the better bits of his music that were in Jodie's era. Because I'm pretty sure we did remark about there was a few episodes where the music was outstanding. So, yeah, brilliance. That's the Doctor Who proms. I'll try and get a chance to watch that one.
I have just messaged my source, my dealer.
Was it tomato or was it brown sauce?
Huh?
Okay, fine.
I should have it before the day. In fact, he just read it, so I should have it within a day.
Of course, over the Christmas period on the BBC, where Christmas Day itself was, like I say, it was outstanding, the programmes they had on that day. We had the Wallace and Gromit film, which was fab. I must admit, I did doze off because it was Christmas and it's tradition. And why am I getting the Grinch? Hang on, bear with. How do I turn the sound off there? Hang on, I've got a problem with Netflix at the moment. It's just playing stuff. Hang on.
Master, since you brought up that you fell asleep during Wallace and Gromit.
What about Wallace and Gromit?
Yeah.
What about it?
The second time I watched it, I also fell asleep. I was watching it with the geek daughter.
Yeah. But I didn't fall asleep because it was rubbish.
It was very late at night. I fell asleep during the first half. I think I annoyed her a little bit. But I loved it.
It's really good. Yes, brilliant.
When she had to get up and go get some food, I woke up and was able to finish. But it was fab.
Yeah, it's really good.
It'll be and Mary, I don't know if you like Wallace and Gromit.
Not particularly.
Okay, it'll be available here next week on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
Of course, after that it was Doctor Who, which was fab. There's a couple of other bits and bobs in the evening, and it all led into the big highlight programme for everybody, which was Gavin and Stacey, the finale, which was also absolutely magnificent. So great stuff to watch on the BBC.
I thought Gavin and Stacey was over with years ago.
No, it wasn't. The finale was broadcast on Christmas Day on BBC One. What are you on about?
Okay, maybe I'm thinking of something
James Corden and Ruth
Gavin
Jones.
and Stacey were done too. I didn't know they were still going on.
I thought everyone was tired of James Corden because when he was hosting the late night show here, people started to dislike him.
Well, he's not in America anymore. He's back home doing Gavin and Stacey for one last time. But like I say, the last episode was about 3-4 years ago. The Nessa character proposed to Smithy, which is James Corden's character, and they left that as a 4 or 5 year cliffhanger, and it was resolved in this final finale wonderment episode of Gavin and Stacey, which it was an hour and a half of joy, to end your Christmas day with. So that was really good fun. Yeah, so I was trying to talk about the stuff we watched over Crimbo. We used to watch a film called Christmas with the Cranks. I seem to, when I used to watch it and Christmas has gone past, to find it irritating. But now, every time I watch it now, I'm finding it more Christmassy. And it becomes now, this year, I had to watch it because Tim Allen is just brilliant and it's just so much fun. Christmas with the Cranks, what a film that is. Also watched a film that we wanted to see in the cinema. I never got a chance because we were too busy and my mum died and we had stuff to do. But it was Red One. It's Dwayne Johnson and Chris Evans in a sort of almost like a Deadpool toned down version of the Santa Claus myth of being at the North Pole, and they've got this big operation. There's a city there, and Santa Claus gets kidnapped by the baddies, and Dwayne Johnson and Chris Evans a baddie.
Yeah, I was about to ask if
it's really good fun.
Johnson, yeah.
Really enjoyed. You don't know who Dwayne Johnson is?
No, I said I saw something about Dwayne Johnson being in a movie like that. So yes, that one.
Of a similar ilk, but slightly more violent, is a film called Violent Night, where David Harbour, my old mate from London Comic Con, plays Santa Claus, who's going through a bit of a hard time. He's relying on alcohol to, and he's decided to just do one more Christmas of delivering presents, but then he gets sort of embroiled into a heist with some gangsters. So it's quite violent, but all in all, it was okay. What else do we have on Netflix? Sorry, I should have prepped this a bit better. Lots of sport. There's been lots of football over the Christmas season. Southampton haven't done particularly well in that sort of aspect of things. Oh no, it's going to go and start playing stuff again. It's really annoying.
Out of the ashes
will
of
you
World
stop
War I,
playing the sound
Germany
on
is
it?
crying
I'm
out
trying to
for a
review your
saviour.
flipping rubbish.
And a wealthy occultist, Dietrich
Right, I'm
Eckart,
going to turn the sound
thinks
down.
he's found him.
For some reason, I'm having to listen to this. So I'd like to talk about what I watched.
A regenerated Germany. But how is that?
Okay, so Churchill's War, I nearly watched the whole lot before Owen, Isabella's boyfriend, decided that he was going to watch the rest of it, and I came in and he was watching episode 4, so I didn't go back to watching any of the previous stuff. But a new series of Squid Game has started up. Deb says it's not as good as the first one, so it's not worth watching. New one, oh yeah, so I've got the charts here. Black Doves, haven't watched that. What else we got here? I don't think I've watched anything in the charts, actually.
We need a Messiah.
Hitler's, what's that? I'm not going to watch that. I'll find Hitler stuff, although Churchill was quite an interesting programme.
This is
I find his stuff quite depressing. Oh, I thought there was stuff I watched on... Now I'm feeling a bit idiotic now, because I haven't watched that much stuff on Netflix. So it must have been Amazon Prime I was watching. Right, Kirby, fill in while I find out what I've been watching on Amazon Prime.
Well, can I say what I've been watching?
Yeah, you're filling in for me and telling me what you've been watching, so as I can come back.
Obviously I watched Wallace and Gromit, watched it twice, loved it, absolutely.
You fell asleep for the first watching, but watched it a second time, is that right?
Well, I fell asleep during the second watch. But,
was it?
Oh, actually, that's right. I've now seen it 3 times because I also watched it with Fred. No. And Fred, when she watched it with me, she noticed there was a Batman 66 reference when Feathers, who's a penguin, parachutes down at the end of it using an umbrella. Right. It's a penguin with an umbrella. I know every penguin since then has had an umbrella somehow, but that really was put into the people's memories with Batman 66. Oh. Speaking of Batman 66, I finished Batman the movie, the 66 movie the other day, because they're going to be talking about that next on Bat Chum's podcast.
On what? On what podcast?
Watch that. Huh?
On what podcast?
The Bat Chums.
Oh, okay.
The Bat Chums podcast. I thought I told you about this one before.
Yeah, and it might have slipped my mind, and like just
remember
didn't
you-
sink in.
The Bat Chums. Bat Chums is put out by the Earth Station 1 people, including one of the people who's on Earth Station Who. But they have been going through every 1966, 67, 68 Batman episodes, and they're doing them in order, and they're also, the first 2 seasons were 2-parters, and they're not putting the 2 parts together. They're doing the first part, talking about it, and then the next week they watch the second part and talk about it. So the same bat time, same bat channel, we're left in with a cliffhanger between podcasts. But it's a lot of fun. They have a lot of fun with that. And when they started that about a year ago, I went out and bought the complete 1966 Batman series on DVD so I could follow along with them. And I already had the movie on DVD. So that's a lot of fun. And then the other thing that I have been catching up on, because the Geek Daughter, for some reason, even though she's into Star Wars quite a bit, has no interest, inexplicably, no interest in watching Skeleton Crew. And so I put off watching Skeleton Crew for 3 weeks before she said, just go ahead and watch it without her. And I'm loving it.
Oh, okay.
What is
It
it?
doesn't appeal to me, but I'm sure that if you're a massive Star Wars fan, that yes.
What is it that makes you love it? Because, I don't know whether to watch it or not.
Oh, well, first of all, it's got this very Spielberg 80s vibe to it, because it's these preteens. There's lots of references to like Goonies and E.T. and stuff like that. And it's also a pirate thing. It's after the fall of the Empire, before the Snoke's period, the whole more recent movies, which were horrible.
So it's after number 9, is it?
Right. Yeah. And, but it involves these kids who live in on this idyllic planet, very utopian, but they stumble into a pirate ship, which has been buried on their planet and has a droid, a pirate droid. He's great, one-eyed and everything. And it's just a load of fun. It is a load of fun. It has Jude Law as another pirate whose name is Captain Silvo, like Long John Silver. And the droid's name, I didn't realize this until I was watching it the second time through. The droid's name is SM-33. So if you take the 33, turn them the other way around, his name is Mr. Smee.
Oh, for God's sake.
and he is voiced by, oh darn, who is, did we see the Capaldi Christmas one with Santa Claus yet?
Yeah, that was I think so. That was Nick Frost played Father Christmas in that one.
Nick Frost, yeah. Nick Frost is the voice of SM-33.
Okay.
and he does a great job. It's just a load of fun. And it's got this very 80s feel to it, and it's got so many Easter eggs that I'm watching YouTube videos where they find all the Easter eggs and they figure out what all the signs say and everything. And one of the kids is a elephant-headed kid, and he is just so cute. Everyone loves Neil.
Okay.
That's his name.
Thank you for the recommendation, Kirby. You might have actually made me feel as if I need to try it.
Oh, watch it. It's great. Skeleton Crew. In
doing all that, I've managed to reel in the stuff, some of the stuff watched. The Prime thing was actually Red 1, so I didn't have to go back and look at that. Ghostbusters number 1, that happened to be on the telly, and sort of just carried on watching it. Absolute genius film, to be fair. Also been watching Lego Masters Australia. That's come to an end, but there was a Christmas episode incorporating a couple of what are very well-known celebrities in Australia, and I don't know who the blimmin' they are. Watching it, but I do love Lego Masters Australia. It's really good. It's a really good version of Lego Masters. I think
So what do you do? Watch someone in real time build Lego?
It's not in real time because they'll start the episode say you've got to build this and and tell a story, etc., etc. You have 10 hours. They're not going to have a 10-hour episode, are they? No. So they just skip to various parts of the build, and the presenter will interact in a comedy fashion with the builders. So in the American version of the show, it's a chap who played the voice of Lego Batman, Will. I can't remember his surname. But, I mean, this Will chap, him and Brad Pitt is one of the producers of the show. He's never on it, but he's one of the producers of the show. Yes, Brad Pitt is a fan of Lego. All right.
Master?
No, I'm in the middle of doing this, but carry on anyway, yes.
I was just looking through the list of people who are in Skeleton Crew as guests, and one of the pirates is played by Jaleel White.
Who?
What was his when he was a teenager? Steve Urkel from Family Matters.
Right, that went right over my head. I'll go back to what I was saying.
You never saw Family Matters? You never saw Steve Urkel?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
So
never mind.
Me and Deb watched the TikTok 100, which is a quite entertaining program. It's talking about the top 100 videos viewed on TikTok and how much money they would make on the back of their viral videos and stuff. What else have we watched? Deb watched lots of Coronation Street. I avoided watching lots of Coronation Street. Diana Rigg from Avengers to All Creatures, a celebration. It's a lovely documentary about the life of Dame Diana Rigg. I really enjoyed that, actually. Queen's 30 Greatest Moments, that was quite good fun too. The Strictly Come Dancing series came to an end. I don't know if anybody watches Dancing with the Stars or anything like that. Obviously Strictly Come Dancing is the original, but Americans will be unaware that this year the show was won by a chap called Chris McCausland, who is blind and is a comedian. He's not a dancer, but he can dance, and it's just amazing. It's very moving to see somebody have a natural talent for something that he never knew he had, and sort of get over the fact that he was blind and had to work his own way around learning steps that people normally learn because they can see their teacher doing the steps. That's just amazing. And don't scoff over, honestly, you have to see it to believe it. Absolute brilliance. And Chris is in his 50s, so he's got over so many hurdles and deserved to win the show just on his dancing ability alone, let alone being blind. So it's probably on YouTube somewhere. What else we got? We got the, like I say, Strictly Come Dancing Christmas special. That's the other thing that was on Christmas Day, which I forgot about, which is always good TV viewing, although the judging is a bit all over the place because they just give them much higher marks than they would normally do on the normal Strictly Come Dancing. So that's all, more or less, unless I think of something else, more or less what I've watched over the Christmas period, and there's been an awful lot, lots of films. I don't normally watch stuff when it's on the telly, but we did this year. And it was nice having 2 days off work, not doing any work at all, just chilling. That hardly ever happens, apart from in a mill. So that was really good fun. And now I know I can hardly sort of hold back the joy that I'm feeling at the moment, and I know that the listeners are absolutely desperate for me to shut up, so Mary can tell us her stuff.
But I don't have much to say. You know, I watch basketball, and I've been spending a lot of time over the Christmas week putting a Christmas jigsaw puzzle together while I watch Christmas movies. So of course all the classics. I love Elf. That's my absolute.
Oh yes,
favorite.
I forgot about Elf. I must admit we did watch it, even though we filmed the show the week before, a kids show. But you can't not watch Elf at Christmas, can you? Let's face it.
Yeah, I love that movie.
It's brilliant.
Oh,
I didn't watch it this year, but just didn't have time. But I own it, so I could put it on anytime.
Yeah.
The one I did not watch is Christmas with the Cranks, so I'm going to have to put that one
I
on.
love that movie.
Yeah, I remember enjoying
I will
that
say,
one
sorry
too.
to interrupt you, Mary. Because I haven't finished watching it yet. I might have said a couple of weeks ago I really wanted to see Superman, the Christopher Reeve story, which was in the cinema, and it was only in the cinema, in our cinema for a week, so I missed it. Unfortunately, it's gone straight onto the TV, so I've downloaded and I watched the first half last night, and it's wonderful. Carry on, Mary.
Well, lots of Christmas movies just to keep the spirit going, and spending a lot of time with the kids, playing and watching their things. I'm sure that you guys don't really care about Mickey Mouse's Christmas tales or things like that.
I like those. I just haven't seen them in ages.
Yeah. Every kids show comes out with Christmas episodes. So, we've cycled through most of them. So that's basically what I've watched, and listen. And what I also do is I listen to podcasts.
Not this one, though.
I listen because when I'm doing the jigsaw puzzles late at night, there's, nothing that I really want to watch. So I listen to podcasts and, none of them are Doctor Who. I'm sorry.
What?
What?
Oh my God! Yes. For some reason, listening to Doctor Who podcasts don't make me more enthusiastic about Doctor Who because the people are all talking about all this little minutia things, that go on in the various episodes or that are going on in various places. It's like, well, I don't care about that. I want to get into the stories. So.
Well, that's how I approach Doctor Who podcasts, but I don't listen to any.
You're like all the little detail, all the Easter eggs and all the little
but it's all right
things.
in small portions, Kirby. I think if a whole podcast is based around that I think it's nice to have bits of it. Sorry.
I hardly ever listen to any podcasts anymore anyway, either.
Not even this one?
Not usually, no, because if I'm on it...
Yeah. Sorry, Mary, you were in the middle of something.
That's pretty much it. And I listen, to like old Big Finish things. There's the Christmas story called oh God, it just left my mind. The Chimes of Midnight, which is Paul McGann and India Fisher, and it's really good. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty much me. I don't have anything new to reveal, or I did watch a recent movie called Juror Number 2, which has been getting all this glorious review, but I found it, kind of predictable and tedious myself. So, so I don't know that I would recommend it.
Obviously, you're mentioning sports, Mary. It did remind me that I've been watching some of the World Darts Championship at Ali Pali, which has been really good and entertaining fun, and so entertaining, in fact, that Deb happened to stay and watch one of the matches with me and thoroughly enjoyed it as well. And an old retro TV series quiz show called Bullseye, which was on probably about 30 years ago, was brought back by, what's his name, had a bad injury. Freddie Flintoff, yeah, so he hosted it, so they had a special Christmas return of Bullseye, which again was really, really good fun. Sorry, that was a bit boring, wasn't it? I shouldn't have actually mentioned it. So, next time on the 20 Megabyte Doctor Who podcast will be in 2025, and I'm thinking there's a chance we actually might be able to get through all of the rest of Capaldi's episodes and all of Jodie Whittaker's episodes during 2025.
Oh,
and
boy,
there'll be, for me personally, light at the end of the tunnel. So we'll see how that pans out, won't we? Never know what's going to happen. But
when did the new episodes start up? Is it like spring?
It just said 2025, didn't it?
Yeah, they have not given a date yet.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that's coming up. So my next available night is 12th night on the 5th of January. So again, we'll see how that pans out.
Well, I will pencil it into my electronic calendar.
Indeed.
Yes.
So,
and we'll be talking about Oxygen.
Oh, that's rather appropriate. Do.
And what is the date on that one?
5th of January.
Okay.
That's just 1 week.
So as we complete another year, I have to obviously say I hope everybody had a great Christmas and has a happy new year and enjoys 2025, because for me personally 2024 and 2023
I'm feeling old,
but hopefully 2025 will be okay. And a bit of advice for the new year: don't buy newspapers because they just want to depress you, and just sort of stay in your own little bubble and
Who buys
enjoy
newspapers?
happiness. I beg your pardon?
I said, who buys newspapers?
People who want to read the
21st
depressing
century.
stuff on the front page because that's all they ever do. Oh, I know we haven't got nothing depressing happened today. Let's create something and bung it on the front page. Because
Yes.
why? Those people are just too happy and they think, I need something to bring me down a bit. Let's buy a newspaper. So don't buy a newspaper. Just stay with your
what I'm saying
families.
is that nobody reads newspapers
They do,
anymore.
though.
They get all their news other
Sadly,
ways.
they do. Just enjoy your own little family bubble and just love things, love people, love your friends, love your family. Just concentrate on that sort of stuff. Love your TV shows. Ignore politics, because politics is depressing. Until next time, thank you for listening and watching, taking part in the show. Goodbye.
Goodbye, fancy pants.
Bye.
Oh, God, and he dropped my camera. And finish.
So Oxygen next week, which means I have to watch it.
Oh, shut up, Kirby. Yes, I thought it was quite, as far as I remember, I thought it was quite a good story.
I believe so. And isn't it the one where he becomes blind at the end and we don't know it?
Who's blind at the end?
The doctor.
Potentially. I don't think he stays blind, though.
It's been 7 years since I've seen it.
I don't remember a lot of these episodes.
And I'm also thinking that I'm going to like the Monk trilogy better than I did the last time.
Oh, yeah, well, you're watching them quite close together, aren't they? And it's a 3-part story. Hang on, that's
No.
brilliant. That's a 3-parter. That'll get through 3 episodes of Capaldi and bring Jodie Whittaker closer quicker. And she's got a few double stories, hasn't she? If I remember rightly, double parters.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll keep myself to myself.
There's the one season which is the entire that one story, whatever it was called.
To the monk episodes. I really hated them the last time.
I suppose we could essentially, if it's a whole story, Kirby, we could watch as a whole story and do it one episode. Woohoo!
Well, yeah, but when I listened to Tim Drury talk about them,
Tim Drury's mention.
The 20 megabyte Doctor Who podcast is an APV Services production, sponsored by whowon.co.uk and lavazi.co.uk. We are proud members of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance. Doctor Who is a trademark of the BBC. No copyright infringement intended. The music on this podcast is covered by limited online music license from PRS for Music.